So I've seen a lot of people struggle going from the 10,000 or even just hitting the $100,000 a month mark in ecom. More specifically, they get stuck from the $10,000 to $20,000 range. So I have done that. As you can see here on the screen, right here, this is where I've done it actually. Now I know this does say December of 2023, if you can see super closely here at the bottom. I just did that to show that I did this a while ago, and so I know the steps that I did are the correct ones. I didn't just make my first $100,000 a month. I am past this now. This is from a brand that's still existing to this day. So I'm gonna get on to the first step here. And the first thing that really helped me is making bundles. Now I only had one hero product, so I was sort of at like a limited selection of what I could bundle, but I actually did quantity bundles and that worked out really well. I sell the singular, but then they get a good discount on the second and third. And that's because the shipping is combined. So I'm not for sure about the other carriers, but I know that USPS works off of a tiered system. So if you're under a certain amount of ounces, it's always going to cost the same. I don't know, let's just say 0 ounces to 8 ounces, your shipping is gonna be the $4. I don't know if that's correct, but then the next tier is like 6 to 12 ounces. So for the most part, if you're selling lightweight items, then you're gonna wanna do a quantity bundle and you can pass that saving on, because if you're selling 2 necklaces and they're not gonna weigh more than 10 ounces, you're not going over that threshold, then you can just pass that saving on to the customer and show it as a discount, because your product might be selling for $20 and shipping is $4, but if you sell them 2 for $40, your shipping is still only $4. So you can give them their quantity discount and say, oh, I'll sell 2 for $30. And they think they're getting the steal of a century. So the next thing is doing like a starter bundle. Now this is when you have a couple more products. I have this here in this flow and it's for the last option, but I wanted to show this here. So this is a mushroom powder brand, and look at this. They're not doing some crazy new custom product. Their main hero product are these mushroom powders that you see here. But they sell insulated mug, frother, and then this sexy metal spoon, I guess. So these are just small things that they put their name on, and I'm sure they make them high quality, right? But they're just easy $12 upgrade, $17 upgrade, things like that. And then you can pretty much just take that powder and you can take the spoon and you can take that frother and have that as your starter bundle. And instead of charging the, what is that, $29 plus, I don't know what the bag is, $15, instead of charging all that, you just charge $30 and you're still making a lot more profit. If your product doesn't have easy upsells like the frother or the spoon or the cup, then you can just do different colors and you can go to your manufacturer and you can say, hey, do you have more colors for this? Can we change the color of this? And then maybe you have a pink and a blue and people want both, right? You can always do that. Now, this brand, I have an example really quickly. This is called Space Goods. And if you go, they have a bundle builder, I think is what they call it. And it leads you off on this page here. See, you can get 2 items, 3 items, or 4+ items, and you get the percentages tiered off right there. You select that amount, and notice how it's not saying there's a price in anything yet. It's just how much you want. So once you click next step, then it asks you, and this is just the few things that I selected here, but there's a whole new page of all their flavors of their powders. And as you can see at the very bottom here, I picked the bundle of 3. So it's add one more to checkout, and it shows you that I'm only 50% of the way there. I need to add one more product. So once I've selected that 3, I'm not checking out with 2 items. I am checking out with 3 items. I've already sort of trapped myself. I don't know, that doesn't sound like a great word, but that's sort of how it is. But once you've added all 3 to cart, this sort of pops up and it says upgrade to 4+ items and save 30%. So you can save even more, but you're already saving on top of the prices. So like this bag would be 55 pounds and it's now 41, and you can change quantities and all of that. And then you finally go to checkout. The next step on the checklist is going to be upsells and post-purchase sells. This was sort of on the first topic that I talked about in your bundles, but have complementary products. That is huge. You can find so many cheaper products. You don't have to have a new like crazy product. Like if you're selling a vacuum, you don't have to invent some crazy, vacuum cleaning device, right? You can just do like vacuum bags, right? With your brand on it. Same thing with the bundles. Once you've made the bundles and they're on your product page or your home page, you then want to add them to your cart. And then after they've checked out, you want to give them the option, say, hey, I noticed you didn't grab this bundle. You didn't grab the spoon and the frother like from before. We'll give you a 10% discount. And they were not going to buy that. They've already went through the checkout process and they still decided to add it after the fact and save 10%. Rich Wallets does this extremely well. This is on just the cart page. There are a ton of upsells on the product page, but then you add to cart and then you just go through this whole list. You can upgrade to the Ridge Wallet keys for $30. Normally it's $75. See, they're adding that discount there. Finally, you can add the black coin tray, I guess, an AirTag strap, phone cases, pens, AirTag money clip, a ton of different things to not just upgrade this wallet that you're getting, but also add more products onto it. Once you sort of have the product side down, emails is your next step. Honestly, I would say do emails before, but this list is in no particular order. So as you can see, I added it in. And this is a little bit after it took me getting used to adding the flows in, but I added an extra $11,600 onto that entire month. As you can see, one is just from sending out regular emails here on these campaigns, and the other is purely automated. It's just, hey, you abandoned cart, would you like to have it for 10% off? Things like that. One thing I really like to do is at the beginning of every month, go through and already just set up a calendar of the emails you want to send out that month. Look up any major holidays. Look up, I don't know, Rich Wallets does this really well. They have a ton of different customization, but let's say it's National Donut Day. They'll say, hey, here's 10%, or they probably won't even discount it, honestly, but they'll say, hey, this is our donut colored wallet for Donut Day. You know what I mean? If you're selling a product for moms, Happy Mother's Day, Father's Day, same exact thing. So you want to sort of scour that month and see what's coming up in your schedule. On the same note, though, you do not want to just bombard them with email after email saying, come back, please. It just doesn't do too well, especially if you don't have a ton of products. If you have like 1, 2, 3 hero products and you have a couple upsells, that's fine. But if you only have one product, you really need to limit the amount of emails that you send out. You can only try to sell the same product to someone so much. This is another great point that Ridge Wallet does. Ridge Wallet does a lot of stuff great. If you want to see a good ecom brand, go check out their website and just look over it and say, hey, what can I add? What do they do well? One of those things is testing their pricing. So I don't remember what their wallets were sold for in the beginning, but as of recent, they kept creeping their prices up, and now they're selling their wallets that are probably $15 to make for $95. One thing I like to say is you do not set the price of your product, your customer does, which is just a fancy way of saying supply and demand. But if they're willing to pay $95, they have that perceived value, then they'll pay $95. And another great thing is look how small this wallet is. The same thing with the shipping. They could sell 2 of those and go up maybe a tier in the shipping category and still make a ton of money, $180. And maybe instead of $4 for shipping, they're paying $8. Okay, something else I see a ton of people do is sticking with the normal basic themes that Shopify gives you. I've seen people do $1 million a month, $2 million a month, $5 million with just the basic themes. That's fine, but it's just a lot easier to do custom. And in my personal opinion, I feel like it can really change the perceived value of your product. So like if you saw Ridge Wallet selling a $95 metal wallet and it was on the basic Shopify theme, I don't think they could get away with that if I'm being honest. If they had a custom website like this one does it really well. This is a dropship product, by the way. They do a really great product website. See, they have the bundle, upsells, all of that stuff right here. And their website just flows well. And this is even not on their phone form. This is just like a website. I specifically use the gym pages. I honestly think it's free, but you can A/B test a lot of stuff. There's a lot of extra stuff you couldn't just do in Shopify. You can even do like dedicated landing pages, I think, which is super useful. Something I want to add on here is I think, I could be wrong, but I think Gem Pages lets you use a heat map. If not, there's other apps for that, but that's sort of built into the software, I'm pretty sure. Coming here towards the end is keeping meta ads simple. Please, I only run 4 campaigns. This is a picture of my Facebook's ad manager. I have 1 campaign for testing, I have 1 video campaign for testing, and then I have the final actual spend budget for pictures and videos. I think I go into depth in one of my previous YouTube videos. I haven't uploaded a ton, but it is one of those videos. And I pretty much run mostly everything in Advantage Plus. Audiences for sure stays Advantage Plus. I'm sorry, Facebook and these social media apps track everyone way too much. Better than I'll know who likes golfing and they also like basketball. I'll just let Facebook figure that out and sell my jerseys or whatever I'm selling. And the last thing here is keep your ad creatives coming in. You do not want to stop the flow or bring it back. If there's one thing I would say to not slow up on, it would be making ad creatives. If you're just bombarded with work and you can't send out an extra email this week and you can get away with it, then don't. Make more ad creatives, because the more you spend on Facebook, the faster the fatigue will set in and the faster they'll become unprofitable. As you can see here, Dr. Squatch, 3,900 ads. They do not stop on their creative process. They have a whole workflow for it. Create a process to make creatives efficiently. This is something you're gonna have to keep doing forever for the entirety of the ecom brand. So you want it to be a process that's efficient and you can do it somewhat quickly, but I also wouldn't rush it at the same time. make a game plan for the amount of creatives you need to be making weekly. So if you are at a certain point and you think that 10 creatives a week of static images, then do 2 a day for the 5-day work week. If you're able to do 2 new video ideas throughout the week, then do that. That one definitely you sort of have to play it by ear. You could even ask ChatGPT what it thinks you should be making for your output, but make sure it knows that you're trying to scale and ad fatigue happens quick. Now that is all of those things, and they work really well by themselves, but they work even better if you have all of those in combination. So if you just do the emails, maybe that's an extra 11,000 bucks that month. But if you do everything on top of it, it's just like a massive snowball. And I don't think that there's any way you couldn't get to 100,000 a month. But if you have any trouble or you just want me to help you out more specifically for your ecom brand, you can reach out in the link below. I don't have any closers, I don't have any setters, anything special. It's me. You'll get a video call with me, and we can just talk about your brand and anything specific to your brand.